I appreciate you taking the time today to go with us on a journey to explore Fiddler Everywhere. We're going to see Fiddler Everywhere in all of its glory, and to get started, I'm going to open up Fiddler Everywhere. Let me open my browser so we can look at it simultaneously while debugging. On the onset, the moment you open Fiddler Everywhere, it will first ask you to log in. Now, if you're a new user, you'll have to create an account by providing your details. If you're an existing user, you can just log in using the user ID or email and the password. Fiddler Everywhere also allows you to log in using Google, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. In the back end, Fiddler Everywhere is authenticating my Google account and getting the credential so that I can log in. And yes, in a couple of seconds, I'm successfully logged in. Let's wait for it to load, and there you go. The first thing you will see when Fiddler Everywhere opens up is this welcome screen. And this has a lot of resources which are useful for developers, especially the first time. It has documentation, it has blogs and videos, which all talk about various use cases of Fiddler Everywhere and how you can use it for your use case. As well, it has links to webinars, including previous ones and future ones, where you can register or watch them on demand. Now, if you are a first-time user of Fiddler Everywhere, then this feature is really going to be of interest to you. The in-app tutorials on the home screen can help you get started really quickly. For example, if you want to learn how to inspect traffic or how to use the composer, just use the in-app tutorials and you'll be kick-started. Let's close this for now and look at Fiddler Everywhere. The first thing you've probably noticed is this warning sign right next to the protocol. And that's because by default, Fiddler Everywhere does not capture HTTPS traffic. To do that, you need to go in and check the gear icon at the top right corner. Now, you will first have to install the root certificate on your machine. And to do this, all you need to do is click the button and authenticate your system. Fiddler Everywhere does all the heavy lifting. Now, even though I'm on a Mac machine, this procedure to install a root certificate is almost the same as on your Windows machine, as well as for Linux. And trust me, I've tried. It's really beautiful how Fiddler does all the heavy lifting for you. All you need to do is authenticate. Once you're done installing the root certificate on your machine, the next thing for you to do is to click the Capture HTTP Traffic checkbox. And once you're done with that, save and close. For so long, Fiddler has been capturing just HTTP traffic. Now let's see if it started capturing HTTPS. So we'll head over to public.com, which is a site that I think looks amazing. And if you see, it's now capturing HTTPS requests as well. And here's public.com. So the first thing you'll notice is all this color-coded files named. Now Fiddler makes it really simple for you to understand and get the insights about all the sessions that are coming in from your browser. And all this happens right in your web traffic tab. Keep in mind, sometimes if your work tab is not capturing sessions, it might be because it's paused. Make sure to turn on this toggle so that there is traffic being captured. If at any time you do not want to capture or you want to pause the traffic being captured, again, the toggle button is all that it takes. So coming back to the traffic that's being logged here, the first thing you'll notice is that you have the file types right over here. So for example, I can see this is an HTML file, whereas this is JavaScript. And even if we have image files denoted here, you can see other things as well, such as the status code, the protocol, and the server name from which the responses come back, including the URL. The other interesting insights that you can get from Fiddler Everywhere at first glance are the size of the body of the response, as well as the type of caching and even the content type that has been returned. For example, in this case, it's an HTML text format. You also have JSON, and in case of an image, you will immediately get to know that's an image. Now, this is where Fiddler Everywhere really shines. We all know that we use multiple web browsers, be it Firefox, Chrome, or Safari. It becomes extremely difficult to keep tabs of which traffic is coming from which browser. Fiddler Everywhere does this beautifully. It shows the process from which the traffic has been coming, and you can see, in this case, it's Chrome. I have some traffic coming in from Microsoft apps. Now, let's go and start debugging the public.com web session that we saw. The moment I click on it, the first thing I will see is the Traffic Inspectors tab. This has the request headers and the response headers as well. Now, Fiddler Everywhere also makes it simple for you to capture only the required traffic. And this is possible with the help of the amazing filter that Fiddler Everywhere has. So right at the top, if you see this ellipse and click on it, it will give you a filter pop-up, and all you need to do is provide the criteria by which you want to filter. So for example, let's assume we want to filter all the traffic coming in from Chrome. We hit Chrome and filter. Also, let's filter out all of the traffic coming to me from public.com. Again, we put a filter on the host and filter, and that's it. So this is how filters can really help you get only the required sessions that you're interested in. All right, now that we saw what filters can do, let's see the traffic inspectors. In the traffic inspectors, in the request headers, you will see the requests that went out to the server and the response. You will notice the response was relayed back from the server. Now, there are some very interesting things that the headers can tell you. For example, the status code of the response, as well as the server from which it originated. Sometimes it even tells you the engine which is powering the website. For example, in this case, it's a WordPress engine. Now, when we notice that this is HTML text content that was returned by public.com, Fiddler also makes it very simple for you to see the entire response, and that can be done in the text tab right next to the headers. Here you can see all the HTML that is on this page. Now, this can be boring to read through, and if you want to see how this actually looks as a website, then Fiddler even makes that possible. All you need to do is go to the web tab, and you will see the exact replica as it would appear in the browser. All right, the other tabs include images. So for example, if you have an image here, I have an image. Let me quickly reload this page, and I will look for public.com. Okay, here there are a couple of images which have come from public.com. So when I click on them, you can see that the image right here, and the same applies for JSON as well as XML content that is there on the website. All right, so now we saw how we can inspect your web sessions and also look at the traffic inspectors. And now, let's see how we can fiddle with the responses. So again, we're going to go ahead and click on public.com session, and this time we're going to use the AutoResponder feature of Fiddler Everywhere. Now, the AutoResponder feature is a pretty cool feature. It literally marks every response that you would want from the server without actually contacting the server. This means Fiddler Everywhere does all the heavy lifting in the back end for you. And this is an extremely helpful feature if you want to quickly test something without having to connect to the server every single time. So let's try that out. The first thing you need to do is right-click and click on Add a New Rule. That will automatically take you to the AutoResponder tab, and I will also add a rule here. Now in this website, I'm going to change the text over from here, from a whole new way to invest to a simple way to invest. And while we're at it, let's also change let's change this App Store and Google Play images as well and replace them with the Apple logo and the Google logo. All right, so let's get started. First, you need to click on the Edit button, and this will open the rule editor for you. Now, since we want to edit the text here, we'll have to search for the content. If you quickly scroll down, you'll find a div card content. And here we go. We have class content, which has the video and also has the span content. And right there, you see a whole new way to invest. Now I'm just going to replace that with a simpler way to invest. So one thing done now, the next thing we need to do is search for the App Store links and then replace the images. So if we scroll down a little more, we get photo widgets. A little more and we see the social icons. So it should be somewhere close. And then App Store links. So here I'm going to quickly replace the file with the Apple logo. And I'm going to pull the Wikimedia image and I'm going to replace this link here. So this is currently the public.com file, and I'm going to replace it with a URL from Wikimedia, which has an Apple logo. I'm going to do the same for the Google one as well. Then cut and paste. All right, and the next thing you need to do is click Save, and your rule is saved. Now again, by default, AutoResponder is turned off. So you'll need to turn it on by clicking the toggle here. Let's reload the page and see what happens. There you go, a simpler way to invest right here, and the logos have been replaced with the Apple and Google image. As simple as that. And all of this was done by Fiddler Everywhere without contacting the server even once. Now let me show you another way that I found that we can do this even faster. But before that, let's close the AutoResponder rule that we've applied so that the things go back to normal. Let's refresh the page to make sure that we're back to normal. And yes, we are. In this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this Google Play logo with the Google logo that I've just done without doing this entire process of searching, scrolling through the entire HTML, and then searching for in the App Store section, and then replacing it. Let's see if I can do it faster. To do this, I'm going to use the Fiddler function that I was talking about a couple minutes back. So when you look at this, you know that this is an image. Now what we can do, we know that Fiddler Everywhere provides the content type. Now if I had to filter for only images, let's see what we get. And now I have all the images which have come from public.com, and let's search for, it's the App Store, Google, Let's make sure you have the right image. Yes, it's the same one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a room for this. And this time, instead of manually crafting a response, I'm going to throw in that exact same URL right here. Let's save the rule. And it's saved. Let's refresh the page again and see if it worked for us. Presto! We did the exact same thing without having to go through the entire call, all thanks to AutoResponder. Like I mentioned earlier, AutoResponder is an amazing feature of Fiddler Everywhere. It can help you do so many other things like this. It's amazing when you don't have to actually rack your brain to figure out what is going wrong. And that's what really makes Fiddler Everywhere so great. All right, so we saw the web traffic, we saw the traffic inspectors, and we also had an opportunity to look at AutoResponder. Now let's go to the next feature of Fiddler Everywhere, which you're going to find very impressive, and this is the Composer. Now the Composer feature of Fiddler Everywhere allows you to compose requests as well as test them. And this applies for both your HTTP requests and even if you want to test your APIs that you'll be using within your websites. Today I'm going to try out a random user generator API endpoint. Let me copy and paste it. Now I have a random user-generated API endpoint. First, I'm going to execute it without doing anything, just to see if it works and what the response is. Cool. We got a status OK response, which means the endpoint works. Now let's go to JSON to see the output. There we go. This provides a quick profile of a person with all the details like gender, name, location, coordinates, login details, and email. I do need to remind you, all of these details are fake, so please do not try using them anywhere. All right, this is what the default result would be of this API endpoint. Yet Fiddler Everywhere lets you test your own APIs in different scenarios and in different situations. For example, right now I see only one result. What if I wanted this API to provide me with 5 results? For that, all I need to do is add a parameter with a key value pair. And in this case, let the value be 5. I click OK, and we execute it. And let's see if it worked. There you go. Person 2, person number 3, 4, and 5, yes. Fiddler has provided us with the 5-person identities. Now this looks like a lot to go through. Maybe we want to condense this and only get the information we want. So let's include only a couple of sections instead of everything. I'm going to use the include parameter, and I'm going to get the values that I want. For example, gender. Now here all values are going to become a separated value. Let's say gender, name, and nationality. I want these 3 details of the user rather than having everything. Let's execute, and there you go. You can now see 5 user details with the parameters that we asked for. Now here I see a majority of males and 1 female. Perhaps I want to see the result for all females. I'm going to add another parameter which says gender equal female and save, and then execute again. And there you go. Now you have all the female data. And I can do the same for nationalities as well. Let's say I want people from the US and Great Britain only. I click OK, execute, and there you go. US, Great Britain. This is how Fiddler Everywhere makes it simple for you to test your APIs. And all of this you can do without having to even bother about having a proper front end or having to communicate with the back end in real time. These are major features of Fiddler Everywhere. We want Fiddler Everywhere to be the modern web debugging proxy tool used by developer teams. With user-friendly and secure collaboration features, there's no more manually exporting sessions or sending the captured traffic through email. Fiddler Everywhere lets you save captured traffic, add comments, and share it with your colleagues, all without switching context. Next, we'll go deeper into collaboration within Fiddler Everywhere, yet start thinking about how brilliant and efficient your team could become. Now, on more about why one of the key features of Fiddler Everywhere is the collaboration part. Fiddler Everywhere allows you to seamlessly collaborate with your entire team. Let's go into an example here. Let's say I'm going to add a filter. And with this filter, I want to see all the traffic coming in only from public.com. All right, so let's say you're working within your team and you want to work alongside your teammates and try to figure out what the problems are to make sure that everyone is on the same page. Fiddler allows you to do this seamlessly. For example, you can right-click on the session and say Save, where you can save either the selected session or all of the sessions. In this case, I'm going to select all of the sessions, which are from public.com, and I'm going to say Save Selected Sessions, and I'm going to say Public Test. The Save session now appears here, and here's what I can do with it. You can see when I click on this, all of these sessions, which we save, will now open up in a new tab. And now I can work with only these sessions. Now, the other things I can do along with this is I can add a comment, which says, check this session first. And then the comment will be here. When my team member opens up the session, they can see it and get the context or get the message that I want to deliver. And more importantly, I can share this entire session with my teammates. All I need to do is click on Share, add an email address, add a slight message, and then share. And Fiddler is going to share these entire sessions via email. And that's how simple Fiddler Everywhere makes it to debug websites and mobile apps.